Hello, AJ.
Franklin, why have you got 3 large sheep on the other side of your window?
Well, yeah, there's a story in that. Like, I let Rowena loose today in the garden centre, and she's managed to get through. I think the bunnies, aren't they? Oh, the sheep bunnies.
They are no, they're sheep then.
The Easter sheep, are they?
Easter sheep, that would work, yeah. I suppose so.
I don't know what you'd call them, but yeah, I don't know. But they cost a considerable amount of money, and divorce is pending, of course. But
let me tell you something. Interior design tears the wallet to shreds. Nothing is cheap.
It certainly does. And listen, whilst we're talking, then you can hear the crumpling of a
box of Tsffs.
Cellophane getting picked up off a box. This is Kevin Phelan provided these.
It is Kevin and Dawn. Thank you very much.
Dawn, yes. Thank you very much. So he's going to eat them throughout the show, no doubt.
Just nudge me down that slippery slope towards diabetesism.
How many's in the pack there? 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. Crikey. That's some eating to be done. Are they hard?
No. I've never had Tsffs before, but wow, they're really nice then.
Do you like them?
I do. Wow, okay.
I've tried one before. I'm not a particular fan myself.
I'm glad to hear that. So how are you?
Oh, well, it's not been a great week, as you know.
No, sir.
I lost my Uncle James early hours of Wednesday morning.
Yes.
So it was a difficult one, really. Have the show or don't, continue with the show. And I was in two minds, really. I know James had listened to little bits of the show.
Had he?
Here and there, during his illness. And we mentioned him on the show a few
times, to be honest, yeah.
So yeah, it was in two minds. It's quite an ironic sort of week, really. I'm doing this. We're all involved in this walk-in for prostate.
We certainly are.
56 miles in February, and of course, yesterday it was World Cancer Day as well.
Oh.
And of course, my uncle died of cancer.
Yeah.
Horrible illness. As most people know, it's probably touched everybody's life at some stage.
Yes.
Whether you've experienced it personally, or directly, or through a family member or a friend. Not nice at all. But yeah, we need to keep on raising awareness so people can get checked out earlier and hopefully live longer as a result.
Most certainly, yeah. So we've obviously started doing the walks. So it's 56 miles in 28 days across February. I know you're up to something ludicrous you've done about 15-20 miles already, haven't you?
I'm just short of 30, I think, after today's little walk. Just short of 6 miles today.
Good.
I find it very therapeutic anyway.
Yes,
walking.
You do.
You get a lot of thinking time, and of course, at a time like this, you do an awful lot of thinking. But
yeah, of course.
So listen, I'd like to dedicate this show really to James Cullen, my uncle, and certainly to his kids, Tracy, Lisa, and Brian, who have been exceptionally. Strong. Yeah, they've been really, really strong throughout. An example. Listen, they're a credit to the dad. So yeah, just dedicate this show to James and let's smash it.
To James.
Yeah, to James.
Right. So we're just going to move it back to the Tsffs, if I may. So
yeah.
I think we should start opening a new kind of running theme on the show called Chocolate AJ Hasn't Tried Yet.
So donations
of welcome.
If you can get the diabetic version for myself. Then.
Because even his wife doesn't provide him with snacks on this show, but she does provide me with them. It's brilliant.
I'm eating a lot of protein stuff at the moment, which
yes,
seems to be helping. I've lost a bit of weight.
Yeah.
I've lost over 1.5 stone. I've not weighed myself for a while, but I know by the clothes that I'm wearing that I'm still losing weight. Just give you an update on my back issues. I think I mentioned it before in last week's show. I have an appointment on Saturday morning at Walton Centre to find out what needs to be done. I'm hoping that I can avoid an operation, but it sounds doubtful knowing the complexities of the situation and the level it's at now.
Right.
But listen, the walk-ins have been a godsend. It's kept me mind off things. I don't even know why I've diverted to
your spine. We were talking about chocolate.
Chocolate.
Yeah. So chocolate AJ hasn't tried yet. Please send your donations into any Skelmersdale United game, or come and find me and Frank one way or the other. Just let us know via social media, and we will take delivery. Thank you so much. Well,
listen. Can you sort of touch on what's been happening at the weekend, because I believe you've been abroad.
I've been out the country, mate. Yeah.
Out the country. Go on, tell me what you've been doing. Have you been doing work on behalf of the Speaking Frankly Football Show?
No, I haven't, and it's quite rare.
It's disappointing.
Hang on, I'm entitled to some time off.
That's okay. That's fine. But did you enjoy yourself anyway? Go on, explain what you've been up to.
Yes,
anyway.
I did. Okay, so
don't explain too much, really.
Oh God, no. Anyway, on Saturday I flew out to Benidorm for a stag do. It's with my friend Mike and 15 other people. Okay, we all went out there.
15 other stags.
Well, it's just one stag, isn't it? And then the rest are.
Oh, I don't know.
I thought there was just one stag, like in the same way that there's one hen, or is it that there's loads of hens and just like a bride to be?
I don't know. Would you dress up silly when you go to these things?
I did not. No. It was mentioned at one point, but we elected not to. But anyway, we went out to Benidorm, and we had pretty much 4 days straight of just drinking. Now, that's very rare for me. I'm usually sort of quite healthy and, generally speaking, teetotal. This did not continue at all, and I had 4 days of just booze and pizza, and I think I had a cheese toasty one day as well.
That's what you kebab.
Well, no, I am a vegetarian, so...
Oh, right, a vegetarian kebab.
I don't think they do vegetarian kebabs in these seedy little takeaway joints in Benidorm. But I had a lovely time. We continued to watch the football over there, so we watched... I think we watched Leeds versus Arsenal on the first day. Then we watched United versus Fulham and City versus Tottenham. And then even on the Monday night, we watched Burnley versus Sunderland in amongst copious amounts of karaoke and drinking and dancing.
And what's your go-to karaoke song? Because you've been doing a fair bit of karaoke singing. Your voice is a little bit rough, isn't it?
It is a little bit rough. I'd sort of hoped that it would sound a bit like Barry White or James Earl Jones, and it really doesn't. It just sounds like Freddie Mercury with a cold. So my go-to song is Stop Crying Your Heart Out by Oasis.
All right. Yeah. Did you sing that at the presentation?
I did not. No, I sang.
That was an Oasis song.
No, that was Keen. I sang Keen. Something to Rely On, which is made famous most recently as being the song at the end of the Gavin and Stacey finale. So I did not sing Keen this time around because I sort of butchered it, but I did sing Oasis. Speaking of Oasis, we saw a Liam Gallagher tribute act as well, and that was really funny. Yeah. Just leaping about like lunatics to all the Oasis classics.
Where were they from, by the way?
Where the Stags.
The tribute band, where were they from? Do you know? Were they from Manchester themselves?
I think so. He sounded.
They weren't a Spanish Oasis tribute band with a bit of twang of Spanish in there.
No. Manuel Gallagher.
Manuel Gallagher.
No, he really was Mancunian, or he did an excellent job of putting on the accent. But he looked the part. You know, he had the cagoule and the tambourine, the sunglasses. Like he looked really good for it. To be fair to him, and he sounded great. I can't knock any kind of tribute act, to be honest.
No, they're quite good these days, aren't they?
They are quite. I had a really good time over there. Flew back the night before last. So I think I landed in Manchester about 7:30. In the night, yeah.
Did you carry on drinking on the plane?
No.
Did you stop on Tuesday then?
Yeah, I did stop on Tuesday. So I'm not a good flyer at the best of times, and I didn't think that drinking was going to help the cause. So I just stayed on the Virgin drinks, as they're known over there, and then I took a couple of meds to help me out on the plane, and I felt a bit better. And so by the time we landed, I was fine.
And what is it with flying? Is it a fear of flying?
It is, yes. Yeah. So if you think about it from like a evolutionary point of view, man is not made to go up in the sky. We're putting our hands entirely in technology and training. Yeah, exactly. So from that perspective, I've preferred to keep either my feet on the ground or myself in the sea. So I nearly freaked out getting on the plane to leave Manchester out to Benidorm. I was thinking,
is it that bad?
I really can't do this. I might actually have to get off the plane here. But that was really quite frightening. But I stayed the course and I got on the plane and what have you. And it's the sensation of taking off that I really struggle with. And then also the descent as well. If it's not smooth, it can be really difficult. And on the flight there to Benidorm, we were landing in windy Benidorm, so we had to circle around the runway, sort of up quite high, a couple of times before making our descent, and our descent was a little bit shaky, so that really did make me quite nervous, so the turbulence I'm not great with either, so I'm just very, very kind of sensory aware of anything kind of going up, going down.
Well, you're not the only one, because I don't particularly like flying. It's a means to an end, to get to sunnier climes. It's
well, great. Of course, yeah.
But I've had a few scares. I remember coming back, we'd been in Spain for a month, we came back, and we actually felt as though the wheels were hitting the runway, and then very last minute it decided to go back up.
Oh God!
In the air again, which really, really shocked me. Rowena gouged her hands into my hand and screamed, and she said, "We're going to die. We're going to die." She really panicked. I didn't know what to make of it at all. Over the time I could hear the captain saying something about, "Don't worry about it, we're going to make another approach." I found out a few days later, but it was during Creamfields were on, and apparently a balloon it was floating across the runway, something as simple as that.
Wow.
It prevented it from landing first time round, so that really, really scared me.
That seems very overkill.
Yeah. And there was another occasion, the only time I've ever flown Ryanair, and I won't ever do it again. But we were kept on the aeroplane for about an hour and a half. The engines were switched off, no aircon. We were we were at Palma Airport.
Grounded.
Grounded. Now I've since found out, over the years since that happened, that when you fly with the cheaper airlines, they get different flight paths. Cheaper flight paths, but also they don't always pay their service fees or bills on time. Ryanair, well, allegedly, I'm going to say allegedly, don't want to get sued by them, but that's sometimes the reason why they miss their slots, because they're late with payments. So I was told, but equally, the other one is that when you're flying with Ryanair, you tend to be on what we would say are the less favourable flight paths, which means more turbulence.
Yeah.
And of course, the only time I've ever seen items fly up in the air, shelves, the overhead cabins open and things fly about, was then. It was horrible.
Oh God.
Yeah, it was really, really horrible. So I can't imagine how it is for Rowena, who has to take medication. But for me, being with her and knowing that she's panicking, it makes me panic even more.
Of course.
And I had me Fitbit on the time, because we used to have a Fitbit at the time, and I found out that my heart rate went up to something like 210 beats per minute during that period. The period where we were coming down to land and we had to go back up again.
Yeah.
Frightening. So flying there, I agree with you, but you want to get out to guaranteed sunshine sometimes. Not that that's the case this time of the year in Benidorm, but...
we still got some sun in Benidorm, and reasonable sort of average of about 17, 18 degrees, so it was still quite warm out there. It was amazing as well how many people use mobility scooters rather than walking. Perfectly able-bodied looking people just coaxing about on mobility scooters and tandem mobility scooters as well. So one at the front.
It's become quite a bit of a sort of fashion accessory.
It has embedded over the years. Yeah.
So I don't know whether it's people just think it's funny to get on one of them now. I don't know.
I think the elderly folk actually take it really seriously and just feel like they need it out there.
Yeah. I can understand it in that really, really hot weather when it's really, really stinking hot. I wouldn't mind going about on a mobility scooter myself, to be fair.
You who just express your love for walking.
I know, yeah. But you know what I mean? When it's when you get over 100 degrees and you've got to walk back from somewhere and you've been set
100 degrees?
Yeah. Oh, listen.
You're not in an oven, Franklin. You are on the coast.
Oh, I know, but I've been. We spent a month in Palma Nova when it was over 100 degrees for the best part of 28 days.
We should emphasise that is Fahrenheit and not Celsius.
Well, that's what I meant.
Franklin, we're not the Americans. We use the Celsius here, damn it. Come on.
Yeah, well, degrees Fahrenheit. Well, you knew what I meant.
It's degrees Celsius.
Yeah, it was never 100 degrees Celsius. That'd have been...
No, because you would have literally been baked sunny side up and then... served with some steamed vegetables.
Certainly wouldn't have been here now.
No.
So what have you been watching on telly? Anything? Have you had time? Well, you wouldn't have had time, would you?
Oh,
you know what I used to like when I'm in Spain? I like listening to and watching Mrs. Brown's Boys. It's my go-to.
Really?
Yeah, I don't like it when I'm at home, but I like watching when I'm abroad.
That's really bizarre.
It's on. It seems to be on in every bar. God. Have you not noticed that?
No, because all ours was just football. Football. That's it. That's all they ever really showed. Yeah. Maybe a bit of the tennis, because obviously the Australian Open was on the Saturday. But that was it. Other than that, it was just the football and nothing else. And that was fine by us. Like, we'll watch football, in any way, shape or form, to be honest. I even watched the Women's Continental Cup final on the Saturday night, just by myself in the bar when everyone else was nightclubbing. Thought, I don't like this. Going to go sit in a bar. So went and sat in a bar with a vodka and coke. Just watched the football for half an hour by myself. So other than that, I've had the day off today. So I watched 6 episodes of The West Wing. Yeah. In case you're unaware with it, it's a political TV series about the staffers in the White House working underneath the President of the United States, written by Aaron Sorkin, very, very acclaimed American screenwriter, has Martin Sheen in it, Rob Lowe, Alison Janney, host of big stars who make an appearance throughout it as well. I think the first 4 seasons of it is probably some of the best written stuff I've ever seen on television.
Yeah, listen, you don't really need to write it because they're writing it for us, aren't they, right now?
In effect. I mean, the amount of bleeding drama that's going on in the White House right now, it's incomparable compared to what it was in 1999 when the show first came out. And that was during the Clinton years. So that's... You've got to pay attention to it, though. It's not like you can sort of tune out, because so much of it is based on your verbalised exchanges of speech. You have to pay attention. You have to stick to it.
So what do you make of the current state of politics in America, surrounding an awful lot with Jeffrey Epstein as well?
Oh, God. It's just... It's sickening, really, isn't it? It's disgusting. I can't fathom the idea and notion of anybody who wanted to get involved with that.
There's more and more people becoming implicated in this.
Yes, there were. Obviously,
Mandelson.
Peter Mandelson was implicated.
Yeah, Bill Gates.
Bill Gates was, yeah. I mean, there was a lot of people who were implicated in there who may have just been clients of his, because he was still a financier. He still had like a professional...
The minute you mention their name now alongside his...
Yes, it's caught up within scandal, isn't it?
It's mud, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Because of how heavily associated he was with his sort of disgusting side of it. So it's quite horrifying. And I watched a snip of Donald Trump speaking to I think it was a Fox News reporter, and he says that because he wasn't mentioned, everyone should just move on and find a new thing like the environment or healthcare. It's disgustingly arrogant.
Well, is it, or is it a case of, listen, we've got to get on with the job of politics here? And that's not really politics, is it?
It's not politics,
if he's not implicated in it. He's not implicated in it, then he's got the job of running the United States of America.
He does. Not that he appears to be doing well at it by all accounts, but I don't know.
What's the world coming to?
Exactly.
Makes you wonder.
Yeah. But I think for now we should just keep within our non-league football, because I think that's where we excel.
Yeah, and listen, there's a lot of scandal and controversy.
There's a lot to go through.
So we'll listen, we better get on with the show. Hello and welcome to the Speaking Frankly Football Show. I'm Frank Hughes, the chairman of Skelmersdale United Football Club, and alongside me is my co-host and passionate press officer, AJ the Jet. Not that being involved with the football club is a prerequisite for hosting a football podcast, but it certainly helps. We are ready to dive headfirst into the vibrant world of non-league football in the Northwest, and we might even take a moment to discuss some of the bigger headlines in the sport. We'll explore life in the Northwest counties, bring you interviews with well-known faces in the league, and analyse how local teams are performing while making bold predictions for their upcoming matches. Nothing is off the limits here. We'll be diving into all kinds of topics, including complicated refereeing decisions and regulations that often leave fans perplexed. We want to hear from you too. This is your show, so don't hesitate to reach out with topics you want us to tackle. Let's get this conversation started and enjoy every single moment. We are speaking frankly. Hello and welcome to the Speaking Frankly Football Show. This is Series 2, Episode 28, and warm welcome to my co-host, AJ.
Hello Frank, hello everybody, thank you very much for tuning in yet again. The show continues to move at a steady, gentle pace, where two idiots sit down and discuss all the whys, wheres and what-fors of Northern non-league football. So on today's show we'll go through the results of the Northwest counties. There's several shocks on show. And Division 1 North, nobody wants to win the league, and some major sad news coming out of Division 1 South. We will discuss the Northern Premier League and the FA Trophy. We're going to visit Controversial Corner as well, where we'll be looking at a league potentially increasing. Morecambe Football Club are part of the controversy, as well as Chester FC as well. We've got no guest today, so we'll rumble straight on through to discussing Skelmersdale United, and then of course our usual fixtures and predictions. As you can tell, I'm somewhat several octaves deeper in vocal output than I normally am. That's because I've been screaming myself silly on the karaoke in Benidorm. But anyway, what's coming up first, Frank?
Well, first of all, I think we should introduce the results from last week.
Yes, I thought you might.
Yeah, I thought after a quick recheck, we thought we were 24-24. And it has to be said that we did agree on an awful lot of the results last week, so we knew it was going to be close. But I just pipped you by 25 correct results to 24. So once again, the powerhouse that is Frank Hughes keeps rolling on.
Say that.
While he's chewing his toffee.
Such outrageous narcissism there.
I know, but listen, it makes a change, doesn't it? Because there was a period of time when you were kicking me backside good style, so it's nice to sort of redress the balance. Anyway, listen, we'll start with the Northern Premier League. No, the Northwest Counties Premier League.
There you go.
So Atherton and Lara have had an excellent week with a double over title contenders padium. I managed to guess both of them to be correct.
Did you?
They beat them 3-2 at the weekend and 2-1 in midweek. They're now unbeaten in their last 10 outings. We've not really mentioned Davy Jones much lately, as they had a bit of a blip in October, November. But since December, they seem to have got themselves back on track, mate.
They certainly have. I think they knew that there was going to be some adjustments having to be made to being promoted. Obviously, it's never easy, that transition from one league into the next. You know that you're going to have to prepare your squad for far more challenges. And there's going to be far more disappointments along the way. I think with Davey, though, because of how well he's excelled at just being able to adapt his team to change. He's brought in several new players. He's let players from his treble-winning team of last season, he's let them move on to pastures new as well. He knows when to revamp his squad, but he does it as minimally as what he possibly can do, because he knows that core of that team, we're talking Joe Bickerstaff, George Chadwick, Harvey Brooks, Joe Bacon, who's the other one? Owen, oh God, give me his name. Come on. Anyway, Owen Green, that's the one. Owen Green. The core of that team, and Davey Moore obviously as the captain. The core of that team is incredibly talented. I mean, ludicrous capability in the attack. So I think it was just about being able to add in the kind of the cogs and the gears that would make this team into something seriously strong. And so it's proved. I mean, they're still 9th in the division, but they've cut the gap on Chadderton and FC St Helens to a single point above them.
So they're in striking range of the playoffs.
They are really in striking range of the playoffs now. I mean, Chadderton do still have a couple of games in hand on them, so you wouldn't really rule it out. But they could make a push for it. They've lost just as many games as West Didsbury and Chorlton have, and one more than Burscough. So they could do it. They really could. I never thought that they would at the start, but they might.
Yeah. So listen, Wythenshawe, they played back-to-back games against Prestwich Hayes. That's the look of the draw. And indeed they did. They did draw 1-1 at the weekend, but 1-2-1 in the midweek. So with Padiham losing, Withy have increased their lead at the top to 12 points.
10
points.
Yeah, 10 points, because Ramsbottom United won a couple of nights ago. Oh. And they have 2 games in hand on Wythenshawe as well, which means just the 4 points in it if Rami win their 2 games in hand, which makes the top of the table all that more interesting. Particularly,
they haven't played a lot of games lately, though, Ramsbottom.
No, they haven't. They've been beset by cancellations and postponements due to the inclement weather. But now they seem to be finding themselves on a bit more of an even pathway as far as games are concerned. So their outing, a couple of days ago, resulted in a 2-0 win at South Liverpool. Luke Sefton and Harvey Hayhurst getting the goals for Steve Wilkes' side, which shoots them to 2nd place, overtaking Padiham. And as I say, within striking distance of Wythenshawe.
Would you say the key to consistency here is probably playing games rather than having postponements?
Yeah, I'd say so.
At this stage?
Yeah, I'd say so. I think you need to be able to keep your team firing on cylinders. I think it's probably it's no coincidence that Rami did start to stutter a little bit after they came back from such a long break. They had a couple of draws in there in games that they might normally have expected to win. So I think now that they're starting to play a bit more regularly, I think we may see them certainly secure their place in the playoffs, but even launch a bit of a march on Wythenshawe for the title.
So Burscough, they beat West Didsbury and Chorlton 1-0 on Saturday in front of an excellent crowd for them of 259.
That really is an excellent turnout at the community ground, and I think it's just the kind of turnout that the organisers behind Burscough would have wanted. I've no doubt that there's quite a big travelling contingent from West Didsbury and Chorlton. We know that they're exceptionally well followed. So they will have come over in their droves, but they'll have left disappointed as Will Lawson's goal with 15 minutes to go, proving to be the decisive factor between these two teams who are once again challenging for the playoffs. West Didsbury and Chorlton, who we know made it to the playoffs last season. Burscough were mired in the lower half of the table until with about 10 games to go. But then a late stage surge rocketed them up to mid-table, and they've carried on that good form this season. They're now in fourth, having overtaken Earlham in that regard as well, and now just a point behind Padiham and 2 points behind Ramsbottom in third and second.
I like what Jay's doing there. He's reaching out to the local community, trying to get them involved, and it's a good time to reach out because they're doing really well.
Oh, they're doing exceptionally well, and it like I say, it was a point that he insisted on trying to amend, is making Burscough a lot more embedded within the local community. And I suppose from a financial point as well, he's going to want to get bums on seats and people through the turnstiles, people investing in season tickets and beers, anything and everything like that. So he's really kind of putting them on the local map. Fair play to him.
We know he listens to the show, so big shout out to Jay.
He also listens to it when he's going to sleep, so sleep well, matey.
Well, listen, I think it was late on Friday night. I think he was at the gym around about 11:30 or something like that. Must have had a really busy day, and he was listening to it then.
Was he?
Yeah, that's what he told me. He rang me in the morning to see where we were up to and what we were doing, because we were on our way to we were at Wetherspoons having breakfast.
Yes,
in the morning.
You were, yeah.
So we were just sort of catching up with each other and seeing what the day had held in store for both of us.
Amazing. Love that.
Yeah, brilliant.
It's good for him.
It's chairman to chairman. It's good relationship.
It seems to be, absolutely.
The way forward. Litherland Remica have now drawn the last two games. The latest draw was against Barnsley Town away. Much improved form, but they're still 9 points away from Abbey Hay, who are from bottom. It's a late surge. There's still an opportunity. There's enough games there. What is the 14 games to go.
If they keep drawing,
catching City of Liverpool, because City of Liverpool can't buy a win, can they?
No, they can't. I can't
13 consecutive defeats.
Is that what it was?
Being a 4-1 defeat away to Earlham, and as we know, listen, that's no shame.
That's a horrible place to go. Is Earlham? It's they're a ridiculously good side, and particularly at home as well. I think City of Liverpool and Litherland are making their results a bit more dignified, if you like. It's more football scores now and less rugby scores. And do you know what? If Litherland pull this off and they manage to get out of the relegation spot from here, I think that could be considered one of the greatest escapes in footballing history. Because to be 9 points adrift with 14 games to go, I think you'd have... even the Premier League, you'd have probably been written off by now. Yeah. Particularly given how difficult it's been for them.
That's the thing with non-league football, though, isn't it? It can change from week to week, month to month. We know teams that have been sort of crashing, nosediving, then new investment comes along, new managers, and then the next minute they're heading back up the table again.
Yeah, well, I think Cone almost got away with it last season. Well, they were absolutely dead and buried. Was it Runcorn Town last season who were adrift at the bottom as well until the management came over, and now
that was a fabulous story. That's a good sort of point to make, really, there, because we didn't see them resurrecting themselves, but they did. So it could certainly happen for Remica.
Yeah, it could. But we continue to wish Steve all the best in his new job as well. He's managed to get 2 creditable results out of his first 3 games, I think he's had now.
Something like that.
Absolutely incredible. So yeah, fair play to him.
But like you just said, there, can't see a change for City of Liverpool, unfortunately. I think that's
not at the minute.
They're doomed.
I think you might be right. Yeah, I just think every kind of aspect of their situation is just perilous, isn't it, really? I know that they've now got a bit more of a steadier squad. They're starting to score a couple of goals each game, but they're still getting hammered. And it's difficult to see exactly where that win's going to come from. They just don't look at the minute like they're capable of beating anybody.
No, listen, best of luck to Richard. Big fan of the show as well, and of course a previous guest as well. Let's hope it works for him, but you just can't see it happening at the moment.
No, I'm afraid not.
So FC St Helens, they've appealed for investors to become involved with the football club. What do you make of that?
I want to understand a bit more about why they've done that, because they've got their own ground. They've got sort of good, steady sponsorship and links within the community. They're quite well backed financially. They're, signing quite a few players from higher divisions to go lower. They're 8th in the table, and they've stayed like that for the last 2 seasons that they've been here. Why on earth are they asking for investors?
Well, the answer to that is they want to improve even more, I would imagine.
All right. Well,
what strikes me as strange is with the sort of St Helens setup is that you've got 3 clubs there. You've got St Helens Town, the most famous club in St Helens, football club that is, and then you've got Pilkington, of course, and you've got FC St Helens, who have, I don't know when they were founded. 20 years ago?
2015, wasn't it?
2015 was it? 10 years ago, whatever it was. There's huge competition there. Not forgetting that it's a rugby league town as well. Mm-hmm. I don't know how you can. We talked about this quite often. Finding your natural level in football in the pyramid, and it's going to take some hell of a kind of investment there to springboard them into a sort of powerhouse in St Helens. You've got 3 teams there that are sharing 300-400 supporters.
Give or take, yeah. I mean, FC St Helens, they tend to average.
So even if you'd amalgamated all 3 teams, they're still not going. They're still not getting crowds more than 400, are they?
No, they're not.
Unless they're doing really, really well.
Unless they're doing really well, and equally, St Helens rugby league team just spectacularly falls off the map or something like that. I want to be able to understand exactly what they want. I know that they're talking about words like expansion, sustainability, community impact, growth, development, all of those, nice little buzzwords. But what are they actually planning on doing, I think, is the question. Because they've got a ground, it's got car parking facilities, it's got, a social club to it as well. I think it was one of the very first that I ever saw at a non-league club, because I'd never been to a non-league football game before.
Because that was during the pre-season, wasn't it?
It was during the pre-season, yeah. So,
and old cricket ground, it was a cricket pavilion before it was a football.
And they were just handed the keys to it, so I don't really think that they had to. I don't think they had to buy it, or at least buy anyone out of it.
We assume it's council owned, don't we?
Yeah, exactly. So
can't remember now.
I think
we spoke to Steve Leather, I'm pretty sure he said it was.
I think it would be quite interesting to speak to Steve or Mark or someone like that, just to see what exactly it is that they're wanting to do.
Yeah, but listen, best of luck to them, because they're trying, and that's all you can do at this level, isn't it?
Well, yeah, absolutely. And they've got the right people in place.
It's a fabulously run club at the moment.
It's well organised.
There's absolutely no doubt about it. It's a lovely place to go.
Yeah,
I think once again it's probably probably one of those areas now where you suspect at some stage you've got to change to 3G.
Yeah,
4G. Patch.
Well, yeah, there's Isgrass, isn't it?
Because the other 2 clubs both share. What's the name of the ground now?
Not Windleshore. Is it Windleshore?
No, I can't remember now. What's it called?
It's the Pilks ground, isn't it?
Yeah, well, Pilks and St Helens Town play at the same ground, don't think.
God.
Yeah.
I'm not
completely gone from my head.
Pilks are not playing at home, so...
No, it doesn't matter anyway, does it? But you know what I mean? They're both playing on plastic.
Yeah.
I think in terms of creating greater revenue, I think you've got to turn that pitch into a plastic pitch, haven't you?
I think you absolutely do. Yeah.
But anyway, listen, best of luck to them. Like you say, it'd be interesting maybe get Mark Hayes on to discuss a little bit more and see what they're actually reaching out for.
Yeah. I think that'd be dead interesting.
Division 1 North, I didn't expect to be talking about Droylsden topping the table, but that's exactly what they're doing, particularly after beating the battered MSB Walton, but then they managed to beat Nelson. I tell a lie. They got battered by MSB Walton, and then they managed to beat Nelson 3-0 on Tuesday.
Yes, they did.
Top. Now, I didn't see that one coming at all.
No, neither did I.
I think you've fondly named the division the one that no one wants to win.
The one that no one wants to win.
Right now, it looks like Aaron Ripley's Nelson just don't know how to win it. They've lost the last 2 league games.
I know. That in itself isn't terrible, because before that they hadn't lost any league games since August. And they still got 10 wins from 17 games, and they still have a lot of games in hand. So I think the onus is still very much with them. I think they can afford to lose against teams like Droylsden and have a bit of an off day, and yet still kind of come storming back. And as we know, Droylsden, you should never ever write them off. They're so well backed financially and support wise. I think the manner in which Droylsden won that game may be a bit of a shock to Nelson and to Ripley. They lost by 3-0. Nelson Van scoring yet again. I think that's his 16th goal of the season. Caelan Collini scoring with a penalty just at half time, and then Cody Artwell putting the icing on the cake there with a goal 15 minutes from time. The attendance has dropped off though, even at the Butcher's Arms. It still was only 269. You would be expecting double that from
that's a midweek game, is it?
It is a midweek game, and City
were United playing in the.
United were not playing. City played on the Wednesday, so they could have had either or. Interestingly enough, do you know why Droylsden, why their ground is called the Butcher's Arms and why they're called the Bloods?
Well, I'm just imagined. I just guess, really. I suppose it used to be a butcher's.
It used to be an abattoir.
An abattoir? That's it.
It used to be a slaughterhouse. Yeah, and that's where the name of both of them came from. So I was sitting on the flight next to two ladies who were from Droylsden.
Oh, right.
And they knew Droylsden Football Club. They knew the local area, and yeah, that's what they told me. So the Bloods and the Butcher's Arms, both based on Droylsden FC's origins being an abattoir.
No, you learn something new every day.
I'm here for you, mate.
So, listen, no change at the part. No change at the bottom apart from Main Road, who beat Fulwood Amateurs 3-1. Didn't see that one coming. They're now 5 points ahead of Garstang and 6 points above bottom club Ashton Athletic. So looking a little bit better for Main Road.
It's looking slightly better for Main Road. I mean, this is a Main Road who finished 9th last season, so I still think they're a long way off what they can and should be doing. But nonetheless, they've given themselves a bit of clear daylight between themselves, Garstang and Ashton. I think it may be a bit of a straight shootout between Athletic and Garstang as to who finishes bottom. I don't think either of them will get relegated. I think it's just to avoid that wooden spoon label for the season as well. But I think Main Road may have to make some serious investment in the summer and look to kind of revamp the club's fortunes on and off the pitch.
Daisy Hill managed to get 4 points out of the last 2 games, so that's increased their sort of divide between the bottom 3, so they're now on 26 points. Things looking slightly better for Nicky Hunt.
Yeah, things are looking a little bit rosier for them, or at least less parlous. Excuse me, they won 4-1 on Monday night against AFC Blackpool in front of a crowd of 101.
Angry Ginger was there.
Was he there this time?
Yeah, apparently he was there. I think he was there on Monday, yeah.
That's interesting. Okay.
Didn't make any difference to the crowd at all.
Didn't make any difference to the crowd. Well, nonetheless, he's rocked up and he's overseen Daisy Hill winning 4-1 against AFC Blackpool on the Monday night, and I think they played earlier on last week, so we don't have the. They played on the Saturday. They drew 3-3 against Holker Old Boys, despite being 2-0 down after 10 minutes and 3-1 down at half time. Some good mental fortitude there from Nicky Hunt's boys to grab themselves a draw against the Old Boys. So, yeah.
Well, that wraps up Division 1 North. Moving on to Division 1 South. Sadly, we have to report Wolverhampton Sporting Community have withdrawn from the league with immediate effect.
Yeah.
Sporting have been languishing at the bottom of the division on just 5 points since November. They looked to relegation before this happened, but it's a bitter blow for the counties and, of course, for all those involved with the club, including Jackie Jays.
Yeah, very much so. So we never like to see a club folding at any stage of the league, but I think this is the first time in my memory that it's happened to a team in the Northwest Counties. So obviously very, very sad for Wolverhampton sporting communities. It was a deeply parlous state of affairs that they were having to endure. Just one win in 24 games all season. Very, very low crowds being put out. We're sort of talking about 15 to 20 people maybe each week. But I think it probably underlines the seriousness of how teams, particularly teams in the Midlands, are supposed to cope when they're being put into the Northwest Counties League and this whole arrangement over league mapping.
Well, we're going to touch on that a little bit later on in the show when we talk about the more controversial issues, of course, and the intended increase of divisions from 17 to 24 at step 6. But what I did notice, and it's not related to this story, so I'm not suggesting it is, but I noticed that Telford Town's midweek cup game was postponed because they couldn't field a team. Now,
it's very bizarre.
Yeah, I can see a lot more of this happening. The very fact that they've been playing Shawbury as well, by the way. They were playing Shawbury, and of course their former boss is Matty Boswell, who now manages Shawbury. So it makes it even more bizarre, really.
Yeah, it is. I don't know if there's much question.
I don't think there's any link between Matty Boswell being the former manager and the game getting called off, unless he's taking a load of their players.
But even then, they've not exactly turned it around, have they? They were still sort of soundly beaten in the midweek games. You would have thought a team like Telford and all those players, that they're sitting in fourth, that there might have been, a major implementation and improvements, but there hasn't been. So we are kind of left to wonder on this.
We've seen it with Daysbrook, didn't we?
We did.
We noticed that they weren't playing games, and then eventually we found out they've fallen out of the league. So it's always a worry when you realise that teams can't field a full squad. Then
this is absolutely true.
You do worry about whether that's going to continue.
I mean, you do see it at the professional game every so often, don't you? Not necessarily that teams can't field a squad, but more that they have to put youth players in there. I remember Arsenal.
Yeah, at least they're fielding a team and they're playing.
Well, yeah, because they've got the depth to do that.
When you don't play because you haven't got numbers, that's a bit of a worry. And of course, one's led to believe that Telford Town have got a big sort of junior section progression. I'm assuming they have.
And they were doing so well. I mean, they're still doing well, aren't they? They're fourth in the table. Just things aren't looking quite as rosy for them as perhaps they once were.
You just sort of get the impression that since Matty Boswell left, it's
all gone a bit
off the boil.
Yeah, a bit off the boil.
Listen, we'll discuss that a little bit further in the controversial corner. Top of the table, Runcorn haven't played a game since mid-January, a league game that is. So they've had a mixture of cup success and postponements, which have meant that they've not played. Eccleshall, however, have had wins over Camelaird 2-0 and Allscott Heath 6-1, and in doing so have reduced the arrears to 6 points. Now, I say that, but there's a new table out now, isn't there?
And it reduced the arrears to about 1 or 2 because of the withdrawal of Wolverhampton sporting community and everyone losing points.
Yeah.
So I think it actually means that Eccleshall now could overturn Runcorn Town and win the table and win the league, which is something that we thought was entirely insurmountable once upon a time. But obviously with this new state of affairs occurring, thanks to the withdrawal of Wolverhampton sporting community, maybe, just maybe, Division 1 South is in for a very, very exciting finale to its season.
I'm just trying to see if I can see the updated table there. I thought I sent it to you earlier on, did I? Not to be honest with you, but...
No, there's not been an update on the table yet.
There's nothing on the North West Counties yet, no?
No.
But it will be in due course.
So this was updated on it says on Wednesday the 4th of February, but It's not. It's still indicating that Wolverhampton sporting community have played 24 games.
It's quite evident, I think. But looking at the table there, that Runcorn Town, because that gap has been reduced to 1 point, Runcorn Town would have played Wolverhampton twice and beat them twice.
Right.
So they've had 6 points deducted from theirs.
Whereas Eccleshall have only played them once.
And they've drawn, I think, have they? They must have drawn.
I think they were one of the teams that drew with Wolverhampton sporting community. So that, I think, reduces it to just a single point, but with, I think, one game in hand that wrong? I don't even know.
So they've got 2 games in hand, so theoretically now they could go... yeah.
They could, yeah.
Yeah, they could go ahead of them.
They could.
All interesting.
Stunning.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
So Hormond are now bottom of the table following Sporting's resignation, despite back-to-back wins that had opened up a 13-point gap before the announcement. So
I doubt very much they'll get relegated. Again, I think it's just a bit like in Division 1 North. It's just trying to save yourself that wooden spoon label. Nonetheless, they're not too far away from Shawbury United. But even so, that'll make for quite an interesting bottom run. Wolverhampton Casuals, Alsager Town, Shawbury and Hormond, all within a sort of a 4-point reach of each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's some amazing congestion down there.
Listen, we don't often mention it, the Edward Case Cup, but we will do today because it's reached the quarter-final stages. On Friday night, Darwin were leading Barnton 2-1, but with a minute into injury time, Jack Smith restored parity to take the game to penalties. Darwin won 4-2. McGull were beaten 5-4 in the 95th minute by Oliver McFadden of Stockport Georgians.
Amazing.
Nelson and Main Road played out a 1-1 draw to take the game to penalties, with Nelson running out winners with a 4-2 penalty win. Runcorn Town beat Sandbach United 2-1. I haven't seen the draw for the next round.
No, me neither.
Listen, well done to all of those that managed to get to the semi-finals.
That's pretty epic, that one, isn't it? I mean, what a game they had at McGull. 9 goals. And that 95th minute goal by Oliver McFadden was his hat-trick as well.
All right.
Yeah, so he scored a hat-trick away from home against McGull.
You've had a good night.
What a night for him, yeah.
So, Northern Premier League, Michael Clegg had a good start to his managerial career at Hyde United with a 0-0 draw at home to high-flying Warrington Rylands.
Yeah.
Lower Breck had been replaced at the top by Runcorn Linnets. Breck's mini-blip continues. They've now lost their last 3 games. Clitheroe's alarm in bad form continues. 1 win, 3 defeats and 2 draws in their last 6 games means that they're now just 7 points above the drop zone. Berry and Bootle are just below the Linnets in the form guide, both undefeated in their last 6 games. What do you make of all of that?
That's okay. So first off, an encouraging start for Michael Clegg. We knew that he had a bit of a job on his hands. They were, I think, second from bottom when he took over. So a 0-0 draw at home to Warrington Rylands, who I think were either 4th or 6th. That's a really encouraging start for him.
Yeah.
He'll be really pleased with that. Lower Breck's drop-off in form is a little bit concerning, although maybe we've set the bar a little bit too high for the Breck. Bearing in mind that they have led the league since about September and were only promoted last season. So are we expecting too much of them? Whatever it means is that having been replaced by Runcorn Linnets and with Avro and Bury breathing down their necks, again, this is just going to make for a really, really exciting finale for the Northern Premier League West.
The narrative gets even more exciting because this weekend, who do they play?
Breck.
Yep.
Bury?
Runcorn Linnets.
Oh!
So it's a top of the table clash. I think Lower Breck have still got a game in hand on Linnets, so they could certainly go top and still have that game in hand if they win on Saturday. Huge game. I think Tommy Lawson will be going to watch that one.
That's interesting.
Seems to have had a conversation with him the other day, and he's looking forward to that game.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
And that would be a fantastic game to go to, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would. Yeah. Is it at Linnets or is it at Breck?
It's at Breck.
Right, so home advantage. That might very well count for a lot there for the Breck. But regardless, they're going to they're going to need every weapon in the arsenal, really, because Linnets are flying.
Yeah, well, they've already been beaten by Linnets, haven't they? 27th of January. Linnets beat them 4-2.
That's a great result for the Linnets as well. I know it's interesting to see where this came from, to be honest, because we thought with Brad Cook stepping down, the Linnets might sort of falter here, but under the new management team, they've actually just kind of kicked on, haven't they?
I think it was what the supporters wanted, by the way. They wanted Michael Ellison back at the football club.
Ellison he'd been successful previously, and because this isn't the first time he'd managed them,
no.
And I think he'd done exceptionally well, if I remember correctly. I mean, obviously you'll know far more about the history of the Northern Prem than I do, but that's the Linnets are. Did we expect them to be here? I didn't. I really didn't. I mean, I know they've been around sort of the fringes of the playoffs through most of the season, but now they're at the top.
Yeah, it's a game changer. It's interesting. It's exciting at the top of the division there, because Berry will be hoping to go one better and get promoted again, because they want to continue that elevation back up into the closer to the full-time professional game.
I'm
not a long way from that, I know.
But, yes, they are. Yeah, obviously they've had a managerial change. Well, two, I think.
But that's their ambition, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But at the minute, they're fighting a bit of a battle to get there. I think they are. They continue to be about 6 points off the pace, if memory serves me correctly. Clitheroe's form is a bit of an eyebrow raiser as well. As you say, one win, 3 defeats, and 2 draws. I don't think they'll get relegated, but I think this is another season where their league form is a bit more mediocre than they would want here, particularly how much they've invested in their squad, really.
And by the sounds of it, there's not a great deal of money there, is there?
No, we've had this conversation before. Their new chairman owns a fashion company, but he's not investing his own money into it.
Is he still there? I don't know, but I believe so. I know Carl Garner had made a sort of public appeal, hadn't he, for more funds for the football club. They had to cut the budget last season. Was it last season they cut it, or was it this season?
This season, no, it was last season. I think it was last season, yeah.
So, further budget cuts, reduction in crowds, because crowds
don't want to go and watch.
No, they don't. Football. I mean, listen, they had a fantastic result against York City, and you're expecting the momentum to carry them a little bit further. Maybe that money that they've made through there will give them a springboard for next season. Who knows?
Yeah, because they will have made about £30,000 from that, just in reward money from the FA. Not to mention, obviously, ticketing and what have you. So you'd hope that there's enough in the kitty to kind of keep them on for next season. But even the amount of crowd that they are getting, I think it's quite high, for that league. I think it's only about 3rd or 4th behind, some of the big. Obviously, Bury's following speaks for itself, really. But Clitheroe really aren't far behind. So I feel like they probably should be doing an awful lot better with what they've got at this point.
So Bootle up to 7th place now, 50 points. Well, I say up to 7th. They've been in 7th for a couple of weeks now, but doing really well, winning games.
Yep.
Like I say, undefeated in the last 6 games.
Yeah.
50 points. They're only 1 point outside the playoff positions.
Make a bit of a late surge, could they?
They've done really, really well, haven't they? Yeah. And I think we mentioned it on the show last week. They're digging up their old hybrid pitch, and they're putting a 3G pitch in during the summer.
Putting in a full-on plastic, aren't they? Yeah.
Yeah, so hopefully that generates a little bit more money. I don't know whether they made a lot of money out of the hybrid pitch. That was the idea as a community hub, but I would imagine they make more money out of a proper 4G pitch. But all looking well for them at the moment. They played 29 games, so everybody's sort of played 28, 29 games around that area of the league. So good luck to Bootle, being a local team.
Yeah.
So listen, we move on to the FA Trophy. Quarter-final draw has been confirmed. The games will be played on Saturday, the 28th of February. Southport have been drawn at home to Yeovil Town. Marine at home to Woking. Kidderminster Harriers at home to Wealdstone. and Horsham at home to Southend United. So fantastic wins for both Marine and Southport.
Oh, yes.
Southport managed to snatch a late win when Teddy Lavelle scored in the 86th minute. And Neil Dans has been nominated for Manager of the Month for January. I don't know whether he's actually got the nod yet, but
we haven't heard anything so far, no.
Marine arguably had the more difficult tie, and it proved to be the case as the game was 0-0 after 90 minutes. But they went on to beat Tamworth 4-1 on penalties following 2 saves from Marine's goalkeeper Fraser Barnsley.
I did call it. I did say that Marine, not that they had the more difficult tie, but that they had the more winnable one.
Yeah, you felt that, didn't you?
I did feel that as well, and I'm so glad that it's kind of come to fruition for them. Obviously, it means more money. It means another kind of glorious tie against Woking as well, who I think are they the top 4 in the National League, something like that.
Yeah,
they're sort of a ludicrously high position, but Marine are going to go into that one absolutely full of confidence. There, holding Tamworth for a full 90 minutes to scoreless, and then defeating them 4-1 on penalties. That's absolutely insane. So you can't knock them. You can't knock what Bobby Grant is doing, and you feel like if you're Marine, you've probably got every chance against.
Oh, listen, it's fantastic what's going on there at the moment. So listen, both teams now, as we said, because of the draw, they face formidable opposition in the next round, but with home advantage, anything is possible.
Okay, yeah.
So moving on to Marine's sort of domestic front, the midweek game against Hereford was postponed. They're now due to play Scarborough this weekend at home, so best of luck to them. Southport lost 2-0 to Kings Lynn on Tuesday night, and they face a challenging home tie against Darlington this Saturday. They're having a great cup run, but need to be mindful of their league position as they're currently 20th, just 3 points above the drop zone.
So I don't think that's as bad as what they're making out. So I think we discussed this on the show last week, and I think it's more to do with how many games have been played by each team at this point. So if we just look at them right now, so Southport are 1 place above the drop zone on 30 points from 29 games. Oxford City are next on the list. They are in the drop zone, 27 points, so there's a 3-point gap, but have played a game more than Southport. Okay, Southport are accruing far more 3 more draws, okay, than Oxford City have, which is obviously where the points difference is, but also have a game more. Now, whether that kind of puts a bit more of a strain on the squad because they're on this amazing cup run, and we see exactly the same kind of fortunes for them as what we are doing with Clitheroe. Now that remains to be seen, but they are also a point behind Peterborough Sports, 2 points behind Worsop and Kingsland Town, 3 points behind Bedford Town. So between 20th and 15th, there's just 5 points. Okay, now and
still not a comfortable position to be in, is it really though?
No, but then again, it's not been a comfortable position for Southport to have been in at all throughout the season. And remember, they were bottom at one point. As Neil Downs kind of struggled to get a bit of a footing on managing his team through the storm. But I think they'll be okay. I really, really do. And I think it just for the sake of how well Downs has done in the cup and how much of a battle he's put through in the league, I think they'll be fine. I really do.
Anyway, listen, moving on to Prescott Cables. Briefly, they will be a little bit annoyed that they could only manage to scrape a 1-1 draw against Workington at home. Workington currently bottom of the division. But, they've done reasonably well. We talked about it. They beat Rylands 3-0 a few days before that. So they're doing relatively well. And just looking at the position in the table.
Marine?
No, it's not about Prescott Cables.
Oh, the Cables, sorry.
Yeah. They're in 14th position. Doesn't look as though they're in any trouble there.
No, I don't think so.
They will be a little bit annoyed that they couldn't beat Workington on home soil. So listen, best of luck to everybody It's just sort of in our area that's competing over the weekend and the week ahead. Listen, we're looking at just quickly non-league day. It's fast approaching. Will take place on March the 22nd to raise awareness and support non-league football. The irony, because we're going to come on to the sort of controversial issues now. Increase in leagues. Now, I managed to watch a YouTube podcast. So Steve Brown and Brent Peters, they do a show called The Rewind Show, and they had the Secretary of the North West Counties on the show, John Deal, and he spoke very well. And we've already discussed this before. This is about the proposal by the FA to increase the Step 6 feeder league from 17 leagues to up to 24.
That's the Division 1s of the teams like the North West Counties or the North East Counties, etc.
Yeah. So as stated at the end of last season, when we were relegated from the counties, the league said it didn't want to relegate teams if there were fewer than 20 teams in each division. But we know the FA makes the final decision, and that's what happened.
Yeah.
Now, the worry is that they already have a situation where clubs are playing fewer games due to reduced numbers at Step 6. If you'd increase those leagues, it would mean that they'd probably struggle to accommodate 16 teams, which is the opposite to what they're trying to achieve. So, yeah, we look at the amount of games. So if the idea that the North West Counties they want to have no less than 20 teams in there, that means that you've got 38 games a season. So from a financial perspective, a lot of clubs can survive on 19 home games as opposed to as it is now. What is it?
18.
18.
Is
it one more game? Is it just the one more game? I'm trying to work it out. But the problem is that if you reduce any league to 16, then you're going to be looking at 30 games a season, so 15. So the reduction in gate revenue is going to be horrific. Plus beer sales, hospitality, raffle prizes, things like that. It's all going to have a knock-on effect.
You're sort of more forced to put on one-off or non-football related charity nights, which is amazing for bringing the community together, but you'd rather do it on a Saturday afternoon when the team's actually playing football, wouldn't you? Really?
Yeah. Well, listen, looking at this anyway, according to John Deal, they've got a meeting at St George's Park on the 15th of February to discuss all of the issues surrounding this. One assumes with the FA and equally with all the other feeder teams, the leagues, the 17 divisions now that feed into the Step 5.
Yeah. So
it'll be interesting to see what happens and what they come back with there. It doesn't sound, John Deal doesn't sound confident because the FA have got their own agenda. But what was interesting was that Brent Peters made the discussion about teams that have actually managed to get promotion from Step 7 to Step 6, and the money that they've spent. This is a possible scenario. So if you've spent £30,000, so you get promoted from Step 7 to Step 6. You've got until the 31st of March to bring your ground up to grade.
Yes.
So you're given that leeway in those first 9 months, which is brilliant. So
Lower Breck have got that, haven't they?
Yeah. Yes. So say for argument's sake, you have to plough £30,000 in to come up to the ground grading, and then equally you're relegated at the end of the season. What's the point in raising all that money, only to see it, piddle down the drain?
I get where you're coming from, and I think. Do you reckon the leagues set too much of a higher bar in terms of, pitch standards and what have you? Do we think we're kind of at that?
I think if you don't do that, then you're even more diluted than you want to be. So then you can let anybody up, then, can't you? And no disrespect to those that want to get up, but if we look at the teams that have dropped out of the Liverpool County Premier League now, it's all down to sustainability, and the worry is that whenever you're accepting teams into that division, you've got to make sure that they can sustain, right? Otherwise, you end up, for the last couple of seasons now, I think we've started with 14 teams and ended up with 12.
Yeah.
That can't really carry on. So the Liverpool County Premier League needs to do something. I think the Northwest Counties consistently done it all the time. And sometimes I've been one of the most critical sort of viewers of the Northwest Counties, if you like. But once you step out of that, you realise how good the league was and how well run it was.
Yeah.
So I have to sort of tip my hat and pay respect to the Northwest Counties, because I think they're doing a fabulous job. And I don't think they want to dilute it any more than it needs to be.
No.
But equally, they want to make sure that we've got 20 teams in each division, including the Northwest Counties Premier Division. The difficulty is now you've got 2 up, 2 down in the Premier Division, but you've got 2 feeder divisions, North and South. 4 teams can't go into 2 places, so then you've got to go down that route of lateral movement,
which
and that
they
is
had
where
to do
the
last
problem
season.
keeps.
They had to do that last
happening.
season because Winsford and Abbey Holton both ended up being moved laterally into the Midland League after having been promoted from Division 1 South last season.
They've done it everywhere. They've done it at every level. So you have the National League, then they invented the National League North and South.
Yeah.
You've now got the Northern Premier League, Premier Division, and the West, East, and whatever it is. It doesn't really matter, but you've got more divisions there. Now we're talking about doing the same thing at Northwest Counties, so we could end up in a situation where, and Brent Peters did mention that possibly the way around it is to cover them and to help them stay in the pyramid, because Step 7, I believe it or not, a few years ago was still within the non-league system. It no longer is.
Huh.
So to protect some of those clubs that are dropping down, create a 3rd division.
Huh.
So you've got the Premier, 1st and 2nd, or 1st, 2nd, 3rd, whatever you want to call it, and just to protect those people that are falling from.
But the standards won't be anything like in the 3rd division what they would be in the 1st and the Premier.
So what are we doing? Are we putting standards of grounds above competitiveness? Because technically, Skelmersdale United Football Club, as it's run, and this is what I was going to say, it brings Skelmersdale United Football Club clearly into the conversation, really, because we've spent an awful lot of money ourselves in the Northwest Counties to stay as competitive as we possibly could.
Yeah.
It failed. Failed for numerous reasons. One is not having our own ground, so we're not making enough money.
Not enough money to spend on players.
Yeah, and now we're sort of languishing in a league now where we've got very little chance of escaping, certainly short term.
Well, this season.
But we're still acting as professional as we can at high cost.
Yeah.
In the hope that we come good. I'm wondering whether we should be protecting the clubs that are run better off the field of play as much as they are competitive. So we've got teams coming into these Step 6 that are not particularly I don't think they've done the homework. I don't think a lot of clubs have done the homework when they're joining when they're joining the non-league system.
Okay.
And I don't think they can sort of sustain football at that level. Whereas there are clubs that have dropped. We just talked about Wolverhampton Sporting Community. They're dropping out of the league. That in itself has already created an issue with Runcorn Town losing 6 points straight away and the gap being reduced. In terms of the pressure that we put on these clubs to stay in these divisions, yes, there has to be a level, there has to be a target. You have to be competent in certain areas. Stadia, making sure that you've got the correct facilities, which is fair dues. We don't want to go back to those days where it was one man and a dog, and very much probably the case for Wolverhampton Sporting Community. They struggle to get any more than 20 supporters there, don't they? So they're not going to sustain football at that level with that kind of backing. Now, one assumes there's a plethora of teams in the Wolverhampton area, the Birmingham area, and they're really way down the pecking order when it comes to sponsorship.
Yeah,
so it's really difficult for them, but you have to question why they joined the non-league system in the first place.
Maybe they were slightly better backed at the time, and the failure to kick on from that support and turn the backing into results means that fans have lost interest, backers have lost interest.
Is there a good argument to give them a couple of years and say, right, you've got rather than 9 months, you've got 2 years to get up to the ground grading. We'll give you a little bit more time to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say that's fair. You'd want to say that the FA and the local leagues had given them a slightly easier life. I mean, I think they were playing at a community hub anyway, so I think their ground was reasonably, up to spec. It's just nobody was interested, sadly.
Yeah, and it is sad, but it'll be interesting what comes of this meeting on the 15th of February. But on another note, I never knew that John Deal played for Scum United back in the late 60s. Only apparently one appearance, so he's got
one appearance.
Yeah, he's gone up in my estimation by one. But yeah, listen. The one thing that came from that podcast was that the Northwest counties are definitely looking out. They're looking out for the teams in the Northwest counties, which they should be doing, and that's refreshing to know. Listen, moving on to the National League, Morecambe Football Club. The reign of Ashvir Singh Johal as manager of Morecambe Football Club has come to an end after the Shrimps announced he'd left the club with immediate effect. Johal leaves his role with Shrimps second bottom in the National League table, 5 points from safety, with 18 games of the season to go. Now, listen, we know Johal's been... Johal, is it pronounced Johal? Joal has been mocked on social media for his post-match interviews, but to be fair, he's never really been a very popular appointment from the very start.
No.
Punjab Warriors, if you recall, because we've been talking about this earlier on in the season, took control of the club following a lengthy transition and sacked their experienced Derek Adams to bring in Johal, who was 30 years of age and had absolutely no experience of managing a football club.
No, he was an assistant coach at the junior setup at Wigan Athletic. So, no, nothing really. I think it was a very... I don't know if risky was the right word, but I think it immediately... I think it just immediately showed Punjab Warriors' naivety in what they were dealing with, and I think they placed it all on the shoulders on a very inexperienced, very young man who sort of immediately...
You've got to feel sorry for him. Listen, exactly. he's tried his damnedest. It's failed, but you felt as though it was always going to fail.
Yeah.
But listen, to being quick to a point, Jim Bentley had previously managed the club for 8 years. He's been installed until the end of the season. Bentley is considered a Morecambe legend, having also played nearly 300 games for the club as well.
Was he in charge of Southport last season?
He was in charge of Southport last season.
That's where I remember that.
Didn't do particularly well with Southport, but like I said, Jim Bentley is... They're obviously listening to the supporters.
Yeah.
What's he called? The Shrimp Trust, is it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, you'd assume that they've started listening to them. I would have brought Derek Adams back in if I'd have been them.
If he'd wanted to come back.
But I can't get my head around this. Yeah, I'm with you there, yeah. I can't get my head around this sort of interim appointment again. Either give him the bloody job and let him get on with it and see how far he can take the football club.
I think interim is only in place if you're there for like less than a year or something like that. If you're there for longer than a year, it's a contract.
He's managed the club before. He's managed the club while it was in the football league.
Yeah,
he's no stranger to the ethos, the way the club runs.
Is he going to want the job, on a permanent basis?
Well, that's the question. Has he gone in there and said, "Listen, I'll come in here till the end of the season
to just help you out"?
But I don't think. I think the case with all these other interim managers. I think committees and chairmen are just trying to buy the time.
I think they're buying the time. I think they want I think it's much easier to assess the club at the end of a season or during the off-season.
You've assessed the club in the position that they're in now, where there's been a lack of input and wins.
Yeah.
You know, that we assume that Punjab have actually ploughed a little bit of money into this venture.
Well, I think that's largely just to pay off the debts, isn't it?
Well, you'd hope that you just wouldn't come into a club, pay the debts off, and then just carry it.
No.
At a very slow momentum, hoping it'll fix itself. There's got to be money in the pot there to improve things. I don't think Joe Hall was the right man to bring, the right sort of credibility or bring the right personnel to the football club to improve it, because of his lack of experience. You know, Derek Adams would have done a good job. But yeah, as you say, would he have gone back after the way he was treated? I pretty much doubt it. But Jim Bentley, he's been there. He knows what the club is all about.
Yeah.
Give him the job. Give him a 2-year contract and let him run with it. He's got the experience. What are they looking for? They're not going to get Mark Hughes. They're not going to get.
Well, he's doing extremely well at Blackpool, isn't he?
No, Mark Hughes at
Carlisle. Sorry,
Carlisle. Yeah. So they're not going to get him. They're not going to get Robbie Savage from Forest Green Rovers. They're not going to get that kind of name in the game, if you like.
No, they're not.
So Jim Bentley, like I say, is considered to be a Morecambe legend. Let him roll with it. Let him have a go. Make your mind up what you're doing. Sometimes you've got to make your mind up. I
don't think you can make your mind up mid-season. I think you just need. I think And I say this before with a lot of teams who bring in interim managers. At this point in time, it's all about steadying the proverbial ship until you can guide it into port.
Yeah, but you know when you're going to sack a manager. You've got time on your hands before you sack a manager, unless you do it impulsively, like it happened with Amarim. He went very quickly after his post-match rant.
Yeah.
But by and large, most chairmen know. What the right time is and when they're going to relieve a man of his duties. Yeah. Most of the time, unless the court's unawares, they know who they're going to go for. They've already established, they've probably got a short list. Most clubs now don't even go to the interview stage with managers. They've obviously interviewed Jim Bentley and asked him to come to the club.
Yeah.
I just think maybe some managers, particularly likes of Jim Bentley now, are underselling themselves by not saying, well, hang on a minute, no, listen, if you want me, I'm here, but I want a 2-3 year contract. I want a contract I want 2 plus the rest of this season.
I think he needs to earn it though, doesn't he? He needs to show that he can turn it around.
Well, who are they going to get to earn it? Who's going to go into that job the way it's been run over the last few years, and certainly the way it's been run this season? Who's going to walk into that football club with a high profile that's got the ability to turn things around, assuming that there is a budget there? If there's not, and it's just a reasonable sort of mid-table budget, then they're going to have to bring somebody in really, really special to turn things around there.
Yeah.
They've faffed about far too long.
Do you think they left Joe Hall to longer than was necessary? Do you think they should have?
I think they made the wrong thing. They made the wrong appointments in the first place.
Well, yeah,
they should never have appointed him because you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. Because even if he'd have finished mid-table, they'd have wanted more from him. Morecambe's a big club in that division.
Okay.
So from my perspective, I think I don't know. I don't know where their search begins. I don't know who they look for. I don't know where they go. Jim Bentley is the right fit for Morecambe at this moment in time, and if you're worried about taking somebody on and giving them a contract, then you're obviously worried about your own decision making. You've got to question your own desire and your own decision making. If you can't make a decision now, who's to say the next appointment's going to be the right decision? You wouldn't, as a supporter of Morecambe Football Club now, you do not have a great deal of faith in Punjab.
No, not at the minute. No.
And it's a difficult time, really difficult time for the supporters. The supporters have been dragged through a hedge backwards. We know at the beginning of the season they delayed their kick-off in order for them to get their act together. Yeah. So they're really, really fortunate. They started the season later than everybody else. Yeah. And managed to... There was a small transition when Joe Hall first came to the club.
Well, he won the first game.
He won the first game, yeah. So there was a little minor quake, but it's not quite manifested into anything better than that. So I feel really sorry for the supporters, and I just think it's about time that they sorted the club out. It's okay, it's one thing taking over a football club, but if you can't, and listen, we know people could probably argue the same about me 2.5 years ago when I come back to the football club. I came back to the football club to keep it in business, never to progress from where it is now higher up at this moment in time. You just can't do that because we haven't got your own ground. But Morecambe have. They've got their own ground. They've got investment. They need to be doing better. Anyway, listen, moving on to another club really that should be doing better than the other. That's Chester Football Club. Today, once again, well not today, but a few days ago, they announced that manager Callum McIntyre will depart the club upon the expiry of his contract at the conclusion of the 2025-26 season. Why wait until the end?
I don't know.
Is it because it's a fan-run football club?
It might be that it's a fan-run football club. I mean... I get it if I think if you fire a manager now and bring him on till the end of the season, I think you've left it too late to make any kind of major changes anyway. I also don't like this idea that started to creak in now of football clubs announcing that their managers are going to be leaving at the end of the season while it's the middle of the season, because I think that just hampers any kind of progress that the club is going to be making.
Totally.
Yeah. And I think for a particular club like Chester, who we know are in the National League North and should be doing miles better than what they are doing. I think they're in about 14th at the minute, 15th. Last season they finished in 6th. They made it to the playoffs. They should be doing far better, and they should be running. They should be run with much more kind of efficiency than this.
Well, like I said, Chester is an extremely big club, but it's underachieved in recent years. They reformed in 15 years ago.
Something like that.
15 years ago. But once again, the question, and I've laid this question bare before, can a supporter supporter-led club return to the Football League? Can it be successful? Because Bury's having its issues because it's supporter-led. We do know there's 2 exceptions to the fact. I think Exeter City and AFC Wimbledon have managed to be relatively successful and sustain football within the Football League. But by and large, I think that fan-run football clubs reduces the ability to progress.
Do you think it's too much squabbling and
less it impinges on success? I mean, we know now if you're in the non-league now and you're in that step 4, step 3, step 2, you've got to have either really good solid fan base, but still you've got to have really good sponsorship. You've got to be winning games because it attracts more supporters. But you've got to have people with deep pockets to invest in it, because we know it's very, very difficult. It took Accrington Stanley a long time to go from the northwest counties right back up to the Football League. They managed it old school in the old days when it was probably relatively more easy to do it. I don't think it's as easy now. So when we look at Bury, Chester's, Kidderminster's, Scarborough's, there's a plethora of teams now that have left the Football League. You have to, and they're not. You can only promote 1 or 2 clubs at a time. There's got to be a good dozen ex-Football Leagues teams now in that lower level that are trying to push to get back into that Football League, and it's not going to happen overnight unless you've got deep pockets and huge investment.
Yeah, which means you basically need to go all in on the committal for the club, and that means having sort of a steady hand, if you like, from the top down. Are fan-run clubs ever that way, run, or do you think that they're just generally speaking too chaotic an organisation?
Well, you'd like to think the supporters, they nominate the board of directors.
Yeah, they do.
So they put their trust in them and hope that they'll do the best they possibly can. But as anybody that's a socialist and has been voting for the Labour Party, for the past God knows how many years, they're doing us no favours at all, regardless of the fact that we voted them in. And they're running the country at the moment with a very, very weak leader. So it's all about leadership, isn't it? Even at football level. It's investments, isn't it? Investments and sustainability. How can you be ambitious with very little in terms of backing?
Yeah,
huge financial backing.
I think it's for a board of directors. You are voting somebody to have that responsibility and being able to carry their own department responsibly, whether that's sort of the funding side of things, the sponsorship side of things, kind of each and every different department.
Is it FC United that don't have sponsorship? Not sponsorship. What was the premise that they were built on? They didn't want to be seen to be a fully commercialised football club run by. Listen, we'll have to do more digging on that. But when they were disenfranchised Manchester United supporters, they weren't happy with the way football was going.
No, just after they'd been bought out by the Glazer family. I think they do still have sponsorship.
Yeah, they have sponsorship, but I can't remember what
their premise of maybe. Was it that they weren't run by a board of directors then?
No, I can't remember. Listen, we'll Google that one as the show goes on. But the question is, who next? Who's going to be tempted back into the... Could it possibly be Neil Young? I know he's at Marine, director of football, but he's got the experience of running Chester Football Club before. Is he someone that might return to the football club to give them stability?
I think he's far too committed to Marine at this point. I remember how long he spent in the hot seat at that time. And he was promoted up, I think, on the basis that he felt he'd taken the club as far as what he could physically take them. But I don't believe his work is done with Marine. I think they're going to have to look elsewhere. I mean, I'm not speaking for everything or for everyone, but Ashveer Singh Johal is available.
Yeah, but going back to what I said before, deals are normally done. So whether this is another case of listen, we're keeping Callum until the end of the season because we know exactly who we've got lined up.
Yeah, I think
and we can't get him until the end of the season. So a little bit like Manchester United now. I think Manchester United know who the next... I think the owners of Manchester United, I think Jim Ratcliffe knows exactly who he's going to appoint at the end of the season.
I would hate to think that that's the case because Michael Carrick's won 3 out of 3 and 3 immensely difficult games. And I think if Carrick continues the way that he is,
he's not going to get the job.
I want him to. I think he could. The way that his backroom staff is set up with Steve Holland, Travis Binion, Jonathan Woodgate, I think that's a great setup, and I just really hope that the stage isn't just being set for Gareth Southgate to walk in there. I
don't think Gareth... He's available anyway, isn't he?
He is.
That's why I'm saying to you, now when they have these interim managers, is it because they've already got somebody lined up but they're still in a job? I think they are. I think there's definitely a case to be answered there.
You think that somebody like Ancelotti or Luis Enrique is waiting until the end of the season to then...
Or they're waiting for him to be before they can approach him.
But the thing is, they insisted that Amorim come in mid-season last year. So why would they make that... Would you not want to do that again? It's ridiculous because I honestly would hate to think that Carrick is just there just minding the club until the club can get in a big name. I'd give him time. I'd give him the opportunity to, perform his own audition on this. He's been at the club on and off since 2006. He knows how it's run. I'd say sort of give him a shot. And I think, in that same vein with Chester, I think you do this at the end of the season. You don't make it public to somebody like McIntyre. You make it public to him. You don't say it to the supporters. You don't put this out there that McIntyre is going to leave, because I think it just sets yourself up to fail. Where the morale and the motivation is completely derailed, because I think that's what happened with Klopp. When he announced he was going to leave in about February, the wheels kind of fell off the club for that season. So I think it's a shocking way to do business, and I don't see it working out for them, even though they say, we strongly believe that Callum and his staff represent the football club's best opportunity to achieve our target of securing a playoff place and competing for promotion this season. Well, no, you don't, because otherwise you wouldn't be announcing that he's going to depart upon the expiry of his contract, unless McIntyre himself wanted out, which I doubt would be the case, because he'd hand in his notice, wouldn't he?
Yeah. I doubt that I'd very much want to be involved with the football club, unless it was on a huge amount of money. I don't think I'd want to be involved in a football club knowing that they're going to
get you gone at the end of the season.
Yeah.
No, there's no need. That's, like I say, it's a shocking way to do business. And if you were in any other employment, you'd probably be half-arsing it until your contract ran down. You're like, well, what are you going to do? Fire me? Nonsense. Absolute rubbish, that. And I hope that bites Chester City in the backside and they don't get anywhere near. But I would hope that McIntyre just kind of leaves with his dignity intact and, finds a job and a club that probably treats him better, quite frankly.
Yeah. Listen, going back to the FC United thing, I think they changed their principles. A lot of it was down to media. Projecting themselves by way of media, so they didn't want to be as commercialised as some of the football clubs at non-league level.
Okay.
How he did that, I don't know, but
I don't know what that means, but fine.
Yeah. Anyway, listen. Yeah. That sort of rounds up controversial corner. We move on to Skelmersdale United Football Club.
Yes, we do. Now, I was not at the game on Saturday. We, of course, had East Villa Real come to us as part of the double header. And although the scoreline was an improvement on the first outing, we were still on the same end of it, weren't we?
Yeah, it was a disappointing result. I said this on the WhatsApp group to the players. I've not seen anybody in this league that we can't beat on our best day, and that kind of sums up what we didn't do. I keep saying it now, that if you look at the Premier League players get an awful lot of time on the ball. At our level, you don't.
No, you don't.
Everybody scraps for everything. We've not sort of quite clicked there yet. We've not sort of come to terms with, we need to be harrying teams down, players down. Yeah. We need to be on their toes all the time. Okay. There's a lack of spatial awareness, and it's worrying, because the ability is there.
Yeah, it is.
There's no doubt. There's quite a few players that have got great ability. We've had some really great additions to the team in Rob Arnold, and
Neil Ellison.
Been a breath of fresh air since they come back to the football club.
Good attitudes, the pair of them. I like them.
Yeah. So making headway in terms of personnel, there's improvements there. People that have come into the squad now are making it better.
Okay.
A better squad, but it's getting that cohesion and the experience and learning a little bit more. I'd sort of give you an example now. When you sort of leave your area to go and defend higher up the pitch, and you miss time a tackle, or you don't get there in time, you're in no man's land then. And if you sit down on your bum and then look up and think, oh, I'll get up now, and then you get up and you start running, it's far too late to be catching up, and you're leaving all kinds of pockets of area. And what it is, because we've not been running the VO this year, but I was sitting up in the stand. When you're sitting up in the stand and you've got a more aerial sort of view of what's going on in the pitch, you see more faults than you do when you're down on the ground. And I've seen a lot of faults there that we just need to clean up.
Okay.
People need to discuss it with them so that they know what their job is, and if they can grasp that, and the young players, and I'm not having a pop at them, and really not having a pop at them, because I like the lads, they're honest lads, and they try. And this was a game yet again where I felt as though we didn't give up. So I can't turn around and say it was poor, because it wasn't, because they tried. And anybody that tries, I take me, I tip my hat off to, and I say well done. And that was the same for Saturday. It's just about the experience now, and they've got to find a way of handling these teams. They're more vocal than us. They're in the referees' faces all the time. We're not. We're second to the fight. We don't get tucked in there. And I'm not saying launch a player or anything like that, but let them know that you're there. Just let them know that you're there, because they're doing it to us. They're letting us know. It's a tough league, and there's some good players in there. We're not discounting the fact that there's some good players in there. But at the end of the day, if all our starting 11 are all firing on all cylinders, and they're concentrating and they're doing their jobs, like I say, there's no team in this division that we're not capable of beating. And that's the most frustrating part of it. So, we've got what was practically would have been a 3-week gap, because we've got no game this Saturday, but hopefully we've got a friendly with MSB Walton next, MSB Walton Reserves next Saturday.
14th.
The 14th. And then, of course, we return to league action on the 21st when we play... We're at away.
Oh God, it's not River. It's the other one.
I know the one you mean.
Yes, you do. It's not Waterloo Dock either.
No.
It's the other one. It's not River. It's not Waterloo Dock.
God, yeah.
For crying out
loud.
loud.
Me at the moment, but whoever we're playing, the next.
Give us a minute.
The next 2 away games are 21st and 28th. We don't know the March fixtures yet.
Liver,
that's it. Liver. Is it Liver Academy? Yeah?
It is Liver Academy, yeah, and that's followed by Granby Toxteth Athletic away on the 28th of February.
Who we've already beaten.
Who we have already beaten once.
So hopefully that's a good omen. But yeah, like I say, we're a bunch of you've got a bunch of decent, talented footballers, a lot of young players that have not played particularly with each other in recent times. So
the cohesion isn't there, and I think that's one of the only things that's lacking, really.
I think what we've noticed in the Liverpool County Premier is that a lot of the teams, they're all friends.
Yeah.
They play together during the week. They play 5-a-side, 6-a-side during the week.
Yeah.
They're constantly playing football together. They know each other inside out, whereas don't. But listen, there's no pressure at all. I've told Andy, I've told the management team that we're not expecting to do anything fantastic this season. Just build for next season, and looking at it now by all accounts, because 2 teams have left the division, they'll be looking at making the numbers up to 16 rather than reducing them. So I don't think we're going to get relegated at the end of the season. I'm pretty sure that we're not. So it's building for next season, and we know what to expect now.
Yeah, I think we do. I think what's sort of more important at this stage is trying to get the best out of the players, now until the end of the season, so that at least we've got a better springboard for then building in the off season than what we have right now. I think if we're going to make the numbers up to 16, that's teams being promoted from below. I think that possibly gives us a better a better chance of going up. I think there's but I think you're absolutely right. I don't think there's a single team there that we can't beat. I've seen every team being played at least once, and even though I've been there to see some of the awful results, I've seen some of the really good ones as well. Probably no more than when we narrowly lost to the Grenadier by 2-0 in a game that we could have taken a point from.
I think one of those goals, by the way, on Saturday, the fourth goal that they scored was late on in the game as well. So it gives it gives a sort of different slant to what it was. The game before that, we were losing 4-1. I had to go.
I think we lost by 6 or 7.
We lost 7-1 in the end, but apparently capitulated at the 4-1 scoreline. We certainly didn't capitulate last Saturday, so that's impressive. If we can take that into the next game, just a little bit of fine tuning, and I don't know. It's been a difficult season. We know that. I know people probably thinking, when does it get better, if ever? We keep on plugging away at the things that we think we need to do, and that one most important thing is get ourselves back to Schem, stay floating as we are, get back to Schem and rebuild, and hopefully over the next sort of season and a half, we'll be doing things in tandem, so that if we do manage to find a piece of land or we return to the JMO at some stage, then in 2-3 years' time, we'll hit the ground running. But there's no easy fix to it, and some clubs, we've just seen it there. Wolverhampton Sporting Wanderers, they've basically left the Northwest Counties now. We're not doing that. We're not leaving anywhere. We're staying for as long as we can. We're like an annoying wasp. We're not going to give up. And there's a lot to be said about not giving up. So onwards and upwards. But listen, it'd be great if we had more support at the home games. We realise why people don't want to support a team that's not winning. Can understand that. But you know what? If you want to be part of a family, there's a lot of good people there. A lot of people that are doing things together, like we mentioned at the top of the show. The 56 miles in February. A lot of supporters.
The brunch club as well.
Yeah, the brunch club. Things are running in the right direction there. We've got a group of people that like each other, are friends with each other. We discuss everything, not just football, mainly other things, stupid things. But it keeps our mental health stability, keeps it nice and stable. So if you want to join a club that are happy, even though they're losing, and I don't mean we're happy because we're losing, but we're happy even though, in spite of the fact.
In spite of losing.
Yeah. So listen, we'll move on to the sort of final predictions and analysis for the
fixtures and predictions for today.
Yeah, so we've got Saturday the 7th. There's nothing on Friday, is there?
There's nothing on Friday, no. Tomorrow. So the weekend's fixtures kick off in the FA Bar's 5th round. Bilston Town home to Droylsden.
Yeah, listen. These both fixtures. West Didsbury have got Winsford. They're not going to be easy for either team.
No.
You get to that stage, to get to the 5th round in the FA Vars, you must be doing something right.
Definitely.
You must be competitive. But still, I'm going for Droylsden against Bilston.
I'm going to say Bilston for this one.
I'm going for West Didsbury and Chorlton.
I'm going to go for Winsford.
Right, fair enough. I hope they both do, because I hope
Northwest
Droylsden and West Didsbury, Chorlton, certainly one of them wins, so that we have representation in the 6th round. That
which
would
is
be good.
the quarters, isn't it?
I would imagine the quarterfinals.
There you go. Which obviously we had. Did we have Atherton LR in the quarters last season, or was that did they end at the 5th round?
I think they ended at the 5th round.
Right. Okay. Against Bourne.
Yeah, Bourne, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. which is fair. Alrighty. Also continuing in the Saturday fixtures in the Premier Division, all games 3 o'clock unless otherwise stated. So Abbey Hay versus Barnoldswick Town at the Abbey Stadium in Gorton. I would say that's Barnoldswick.
You know what? I think Abbey Hay might just upset the apple cart.
Very well. Atherton LR versus City of Liverpool.
Atherton LR.
Burscough versus Wythenshawe.
Well, this is a big game in many ways. Game. It sort of give Dempsey and Jay, to be fair, an idea of how far they've come this season.
Yeah, I think it's a big test of their credentials.
But they've had a couple of big tests in the last week or so.
Well, yeah, they won 1-0 against... Who did we say they won 1-0 against?
West Didsbury, was it?
West Didsbury and Chorlton, yeah, which obviously no mean feat by any stretch of the imagination. So, yeah, Wythenshawe, obviously a little bit more of a different beast, top of the table, but did have some difficulties against Prestwich Hayes in the midweek. So, I'll say a draw here.
You know what, the draw's not a bad shout, but you know, I've just got this sneaking suspicion that Bearscough are going to win it, so I'm going for Bearscough.
Right.
Charnock Richard versus Ramsbottom.
Ramsbottom.
I'm going to go for Ramsbottom, but I could see Charnock pulling something off there. FC St Helens versus AFC Liverpool. I'm going to go for FC.
Yeah, so am I, but I think AFC Liverpool will give a good account of themselves. Still on some good form recently, so fair play. Glossop North End versus Cheadle Town. You'd be minded to say Glossop North End there.
Well, let me just take a closer look at that. Yeah, there's not much difference in points in the league. Yeah, it can be potentially one of those. Yeah, it's going to go. I'm going to go for a draw.
All right then.
Padiham versus Chadderton. I just see Chadderton win this. Padiham
have fallen off against LR.
They've got to win this game.
I think they really do have to win this game.
Just purely for confidence. They can't carry on losing games.
No.
Back-to-back defeats against Atherton LR.
That's and I think that probably says more about Padiham's difficulties than LR's capabilities.
Yeah.
Which we knew were there. But obviously more focus is on Padiham. So yeah, I will also say Chadderton there.
Yep. Prestwich Hayes versus Earlham. I'm going for
Earlham.
South Liverpool versus Longridge. I'm going for South Liverpool. I'll go for South Liverpool.
I'm going to say a draw there.
Yeah, I'm just looking. South Liverpool, Longridge. Yeah, not much. Yeah, probably a draw would be a good idea, but I'll go for South Liverpool anyway. Okay. Stockport Town versus Pilks. I'm going for Stockport
Town. And then FC Isle of Man versus Exton Villa is a 6 o'clock kick-off at the Bowl.
I'm going for FC Isle of Man.
I am also going for FC Isle of Man.
Had a good draw. Was it 4-4 against Ramsbottom?
4-4 against Rammy, so that's no mean feat again.
Yeah. So, Saturday, First Division North, AFC Blackpool versus Daisy Hill. I feel Daisy Hill might just sneak that one.
Well, that's a repeat of the game that happened on Monday. Daisy Hill won that one by 4-1. I can see that result going their way again.
Good. Ashton Athletic versus Squires Gate. I'm going for Squires Gate. Bacup Borough versus McGull. I'm going for Bacup Borough.
Draw.
Colne versus MSB Woolton.
MSB Woolton.
I'm going for a draw. Fulwood Amateurs versus Ashton Town. I'm going for Fulwood.
So am I going for Fulwood. Daniel Venter scored a hat-trick at the weekend when Fulwood Amateurs beat... Daniel Venter plays for MSB Woolton, so he'll be looking for some more goods against Colne, whereas Fulwood Amateurs have the league's top scorer, which is Spencer Lucas. So I am going to say Fulwood Amateurs. Actually, just on that note, do you want to discuss Ashton Town?
Go on.
So last night, on Wednesday night, Ashton Town's chairman, Chris Wright, announced his intention to step down from the club with immediate effect. Obviously, he's been chairman of the club now for the better part of a decade, hasn't he?
I'm not too sure. I think he took over from Mark Hayes, didn't he?
Did he? Oh, right. Okay, so that was a fair bit more recently than that.
A handful of years. I'm not entirely sure.
And in that time, he oversaw a very positive change in the club's fortunes. They were merely existing at the bottom end of the First Division North of the Northwest Counties. He steered them towards their highest ever league finish, as well as multiple ventures into the FA Trophy, into the FA Vase, with very creditable finishes, and also a victory in the Wigan Cup. Now, the last year has been an immensely difficult one after the death of his wife, Deborah, and I wonder whether this is kind of the knock-on effect of that he feels the need to take some time for himself. He's not actually made a personal statement himself. All of this has just come out of the official club pathways, but if it was related, it's entirely understandable. But we do wish Chris the very, very best for the future, and even as one club to another, we have to kind of tip our hats as to his efforts and successes with Ashton Town.
Yeah, listen, the other thing, of course, is that Chris has put a fair amount of money into the football club over the years as well, and you can't just carry on doing that, can you? Comes a stage where you've got to start saving your pennies.
Yeah, I think you're right. We know that football clubs are a bit of a money pit.
Yeah, definitely a money pit. So yeah, listen, best of luck to him, and of course to Ashton Town for the future. Absolutely. So Nelson at home to Main Road. I'm going to go for Nelson.
I am also going for Nelson. Steeton versus Garstank. Steeton for me, home win. And then Thornton Cleveland's versus Darwin. I'm going to say a draw there.
Yeah, there's not much between the two teams, but I'm going to go for Darwin.
Very well.
First Division South, Ashville versus Allscott Heath.
Ashville for me.
Let me just look at the table there. So Ashville are currently...
Ashville are 9th, Allscott Heath are 11th. There's 4 points difference between them, although Allscott Heath have played 2 games more.
Right. So yeah, looking at their draw tally, so Ashville 6 drawn and Allscott. I'm going to go for a draw.
Very well.
There you go.
Barnton versus Market Drayton Town. Barnton for me.
Yeah, I think Barnton will just edge that one. Foley Mere versus Eccleshall. Go for Eccleshall. Runcorn Town versus Alsager. Runcorn. Sandbach versus Horman.
Sandbach.
Well, Horman had that really fantastic 6-1 win, didn't they? So a little bit more resurgent, but I'm still going for Sandbach.
So am I still going for Sandbach. Shawbury versus Wolverhampton Casuals.
Well,
Shawbury.
Of course, that's the Casuals version. So yeah, I'm going to go for Shawbury. Yeah. Stafford Town versus Cheadle. I'm going to go for Stafford Town. Telford Town versus New Mills.
Ooh.
I'm going to go for a draw.
Yeah, I'll say New Mills on this one.
Yeah, Wolverhampton Sporting Community would have been playing Camelhead, only for folding, so Camelhead have got no game. They've got a game off on Saturday. It wouldn't have been a bad shout for a friendly, that. Anyway, listen, moving on to Tuesday, the 10th of February, Premier Division.
What's AFC. Tuesday, the 10th of February, Frank?
Pancake Day?
No. Tuesday. Frankly, I mentioned this on the show last week. Can't tell me you've forgotten already.
Go on.
It's my birthday, Frank.
All right, yeah. It's your birthday.
Oh, damn it. Oh,
so, yeah, if you didn't quite catch that, it's AJ's birthday on the 10th of February. Listen, many happy returns of that particular day for you.
I should think so. Thank you very much.
But I'll remind you when you're 31 this time round?
No, 21 again. 32.
32?
Yes.
Oh, I thought you were still 30.
No.
You got 2 birthdays in each year, have you?
I am like the Queen. It's 2 birthdays each year.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on to the Premier Division on Tuesday. Whilst AJ's celebrating his 40th birthday.
Shut the hell off.
AFC Liverpool will be playing Atherton, and I'm going for Atherton.
I am also going for Atherton Alarm. What a turnaround they've had.
Barnsley versus Earlham. Charnock Richards versus Longridge Town.
Ooh. Charnock Richard. I know they're a proper Jekyll and Hyde team, and I know I say that nearly every week, but I think against Longridge they may just come good again.
They're a decent outfit. Tommy's watched them a couple of times. I think I've watched them once this season.
We watched them last season.
They're a good
they're ridiculous. They've got some great players. They've got Gaz Pete at the back, who's obviously spent his time at Bury. Yeah, Nathan Nicky is one of the best strikers and goal scorers in the league. They've got such good talent, but they're just not making full use of it at the minute.
No. City of Liverpool versus South Liverpool. This is the Liverpool derby.
The derby that isn't, because of where City of Liverpool are playing at the minute.
Yeah, I'm going for South Liverpool.
So am I.
Glossop North End versus Bearscombe. I'm going for Bearscombe.
I'll say a Bearscombe win for that one, to be honest.
Right. Padiham versus West Tisbury and Chorlton. I think Padiham will get back on.
I think Padiham will get back on two
games. Prestwich Hayes versus Exton Villa. Prestwich Hayes.
So Exton Villa 18th, Prestwich Hayes 13th. Yeah, you'd sort of be minded to say Prestwich Hayes, really, wouldn't you? Yeah.
I remember listening to the non-league show on radio Lancashire years ago, and they used to do this at the end of the show. They used to do their predictions, and when it came to Skem and they were predicting Skem's score, if they turned around and said, I think Skem are going to lose it, I was in uproar. I'd be shouting and arguing with the radio. So no doubt people that are tuning in and listening to the predictions for their particular club will be absolutely
throwing shoes at
the radio. Never mind. Anyway, listen, I digress. But listen, I've got to get back on track again. Ramsbottom United versus Cheadle. I'm going to go for
Ramsbottom, yeah.
Wythenshawe versus Pilkington.
Wythenshawe,
First Division North, Ashton Athletic versus Steeton. Got to go for
Steeton, yeah.
Holker Old Boys versus AFC Blackpool. Tuesday night, I'm going for Holker.
I'm going for Holker as well.
Squires Gate versus Cone. I think
Squires Gate once again, yeah.
Alsager versus Asheville in the Division 1 South. Go for Asheville. Foley Mere versus Cheadle Heath Nomads.
Foley Mere.
I'm going for Cheadle Heath Nomads. Hormond versus Stockport Georgians. Stockport Georgians. Wolverhampton Casuals versus Sandbach United. I'm going for Sandbach.
Yep.
Runcorn versus Stafford Town. Big game, but I still think, Runcorn, they've only lost one game. I'm going for Runcorn.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Okay, Wednesday the 11th, Garstang versus Daisy Hill. Daisy Hill.
Yeah, go for Daisy Hill.
And then Nelson versus Fulwood Amateurs. I think Nelson will get back to business on that game. So I'll say Nelson too. Also Wednesday the 11th of February, the First Division South, Telford Town versus Barnton. Telford, yeah. And then in the Staffordshire Senior Cup quarterfinals, Eccleshall versus Hanley Town.
I'm going for Hanley Town. Purely based on the fact they play Step 5, do they?
Yes, they do. So they dropped out of the Northern Premier League West last season, didn't they? So they are back in the regional football. So by technicality, they are one division above Eccleshall. I think they're in the Midland Prem. Although not having the best season by all accounts. I don't think they're exactly fighting for promotion. I will say Hanley Town as well.
Yeah, which rounds up the fixtures for the week ahead. Best of luck to everybody. Get out and support all your non-league favourites. Non-league football needs its supporters.
And it appreciates its supporters far more than your professional clubs would do. Even at the lower level, like your League 1 and your League 2, there's so much more of an inclusivity and a love and less of an enigma that money just isn't going to buy you at the professional level.
I think we recognised this, didn't we? And I think we might have hit upon it before, but we recognised this back in the sort of era of the pandemic, that a lot of supporters started gravitating towards non-league because you were allowed to go and watch non-league football before you were allowed back into the bigger stadiums.
Yeah.
So a lot of people came back to non-league football then, but I seen it as there was a sort of double effect there. I think when people witnessed the amount of I think the transfer window in 2020, was it January or the year after, it might have been 2021, was a record-breaking January transfer window. And I think when people seen the ugliness of it and the fact that football club could survive without supporters, I think it drove people to go and watch the non-league game, because it's cheaper. You can enjoy a pint at the sidelines.
Yes, you can. You can integrate.
Brent Peters said it on his Rewind show. So yeah, listen. Bearing in mind that we've seen football clubs go to the wall, and listen, there's going to be more that go to the wall in the weeks, months, and years to come. Support your football club, because they might not always be there, and we know how much we miss them when they do go. And there's bigger clubs than us that have gone.
Oh, most certainly, yeah. We saw Bedlington Terriers fold in the last couple of months, like Farsley Celtic went earlier on this season. It's just sadness when you've got local community football teams, and we see sort of children and men and women thrive on Saturday coming around and just being able to go out and watch their local football for 90 minutes, because it's just one of the best atmospheres. You really feel like there's nowhere else you'd rather be.
And it's a reminder, isn't it, that even at the higher levels, we've had Leeds United and Manchester City that have dropped out of the Premier Division. Wigan Athletic,
Blackburn Rovers.
So Leeds have managed to get themselves back up there. Manchester City have, but it took time. I think City dropped to League Two, didn't they?
They did, yeah. They were a few minutes away from being relegated out of the Football League, and I think they won. I can't remember who it was against, although a lot of my City fan friends will tell me who they beat to stay in the Football League. But I think it was about as late as 1992 they were that close to falling out of the league completely. Now, naturally, things have changed, and Manchester City have the most ludicrous financial investment you could ever possibly imagine. But I mean, even investment of a season ticket for about £100 goes a long way towards a non-league football club. It really does. And you're appreciated so much more for having it. Chances are you'll be able to buy a pint and stand next to somebody who works with the club.
I think you could have a 3-course pie meal.
Yeah.
You could have several pints of ale, your admission, your programme, and it'd still be a hell of a lot cheaper than going to watch Manchester United or City. Yeah,
it would be. Yeah, I think you can have a pie and a pint and a matchday programme and all that with 20 quid with change to spare. I doubt you'd get anything like that for United.
What makes a huge difference to clubs at our level and above. So get out and support your non-league teams.
There you go.
You'd be surprised by the level of football, standard of football that's played at some of these clubs. And listen, when we've talked about Lower Breck and how they've managed to fly right from the Liverpool County Prem up to the Northern Premier League West. Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah, listen, we've come to that part of the show with what we've learned this week so far.
We just said that, to be honest. I think that handy little reminisce there is probably what we have learned.
Yeah, we've definitely covered that. So listen, with that in mind, we'll leave the final words to the dulcet tones of AJ.
Barry White this time.
Barry White.
You've been listening to the Speaking Frankly Football Show with me, AJ Vergette, and my co-host, Mr. Frank Hughes. This podcast is available on most streaming services wherever you get your podcasts, including Amazon Music and Spotify. Please rate and review, as we do thrive off hearing your feedback. Please also subscribe so that you can find out firsthand when a new episode of the show has been released. We're also available on social media sites, most prevalently X and Facebook, under the banner term Speaking Frankly Football Show. And so from myself and Frank, thank you ever so much for tuning in, and we will see you next week for another episode of the show. Until then, bye-bye for now.